Rub on him. Barbara and John, Therese, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the new Mr. and Mrs. Rupert Silver! I'm David, this is Mark. Together we're two of Rupert's longest standing, closest friends, and we're here this evening to help you through your after dinner nap. As I'm sure you're all too aware, the traditional role of the best man speech is to incriminate the groom. The trouble here is that I would have to admit to my part in a few dodgy tales, and I wouldn't want to ruin my professional, responsible reputation. Fortunately, Mark's here as well, and he ruined his reputation many years ago. So together, we'll endeavour to explore what it's like being a close friend of Rupert. Organised, reliable, driven, proactive, athletic. None of these words can be used to describe Rupert. Not one of them. And being a friend with someone as disorganised, unreliable, and frankly late as Rupert can be truly challenging. But more on that later, because we're not here solely to slander Rupert's character. Rupert has many incredible attributes too. He's loyal, he's charming, he's astute, he's a great person to seek advice from. He has a joy and a happiness that you cannot match. He has an insatiable appetite for fun. He wakes up every morning just wanting to laugh all day long. Unfortunately, he's mostly laughing at you rather than with you. You see, you always have to be on your guard whenever you're with Rupert, because he's always enjoyed a practical joke and a prank. At school, he'd happily wait in the toilet cubicle for an hour just to water bomb someone coming in to use the cubicle next door to him. He started and was president of the school japing society. It was, of course, the only society he was a member of at school. Living with him was even more perilous. I recall at least 2 occasions when I returned home from work to find everything in my room, my bed, my desk, my cupboards, wardrobes, drawers, books, computer, the lot, turned upside down. But the one I recall with least amusement was a trip I made to South Africa. A tense, make-or-break meeting with my then girlfriend, now wife, Kerry. My case was extremely heavy, and Rupert kindly offered to carry it from our flat to the taxi. What a gentleman. My suspicions should have been aroused at this point, because it was, of course, the first physical exercise Rupert had undertaken since narrowly missing out on a medal in the Egg and Spoon race, Newcastle-Muscovy Sports Day, aged 9. I schlepped my case round the airport in London and in Cape Town, lugged it into a taxi, into the hotel, up to my hotel room, and as I opened it, I found neatly laid out on top the yellow pages, a wok, and a set of frying pans. Thank you, Rupert. Whilst particularly annoying, importantly, it made me relax and made me smile. And this really is one of Rupert's real attributes, being really annoying. Of course, I mean the ability to make people laugh and smile. Our 7 years as flatmates allowed us to spend quality time together. Low quality time. Of course, that's not really fair, but a large proportion of these 7 years was spent with Rupert, sprawled on the couch, enjoying his favourite activities, drinking whiskey, smoking cigarettes, and playing computer games. Physical exercise certainly wasn't on the agenda when we lived together. After work each evening, After work each evening, I would return home and get changed into my running kit, ready to go for a run. As Rupert racked up his first large whiskey of the evening, I'd return home from my run, dripping in sweat, to find Rupert, similarly so, reaching for the remote control. I would warm down and stretch, and Rupert would also stretch, out an arm to the pile of takeaway menus on the sofa next to him. Rupert and I did actually go running once together. Well, Rupert ran as I gently walked alongside him. So he promptly gave up running and returned to the safety and security of the sofa and his scotch. We all know Rupert may be a boozer, but true to form, he's a happy drinker. He's always laughing and shaking hands, even when he's alone. But the reality is that Rupert is never truly alone. Even when no one's physically present, he's always socialising virtually with some of his dear online gaming mates, enjoying his favourite strategy online game, Travion. In fact, Mark and I are lucky to be best men tonight. Run and Claw and Beast Wolf, two highly skilled, respected online gamers, were Rupert's first choice, had they not been at school or in prison. Believe it or not, Rupert will be 40 later this year. But he's still a catch, right? Right? So he's still a catch, yeah? So what's taken him so long to finally meet the woman of his dreams? Well, it shouldn't be said, but Rupert has in fact had a number of long-term relationships. Most were Japanese. First there was Atari, then Nintendo. He even went out with sisters, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. Another was called the Wii. I wouldn't want to know what they got up to, thank you very much. But it's not only computer games that Rupert enjoys from the comfort of his sofa. He can while away the hours watching hours and hours of mindless TV. In fact, if it means he can avoid helping out with the household chores, he can find just about anything to watch. He claims he does, however, help out with the cleaning. He spends so long prostrate on the sofa that it never gets dusty. You may know that since Rupert's been a young boy, he suffered from chronic asthma. He coughed and wheezed and spluttered his way through school, and was never more than a minute away from another deep blast on his inhaler. Yet Rupert coped with his asthma as any responsible person would, by smoking 40 cigarettes a day. But it's massive credit to Laura that under her supervision, where friends and family have all tried and failed, Rupert has finally given up smoking for good. Laura, allow me to be the 196th person today to say how stunning you look. You're a beautiful, bright, kind girl with a wicked sense of humour, and I just know you'll take great care of the silver. But he may need a little polish from time to time. I must confess, I recall being slightly confused when Rupert and Laura first started dating. All Rupert would say was that he was off to see the dentist, a piece of inherently informative but pretty dull news. He then announced with the joy and glee that surprised us that he would be going back for a second appointment, and hopefully there would be a third. When he told us he signed up to a 50-year dental plan and had to go back every day for the rest of his life, we knew it was serious. But what about Rupert's wonderful new wife, Laura? We needed some proper intel, so we consulted her best friend, Donna. It didn't start well. Fact number one from Donna. Laura's favourite body part of Rupert's is his ankles. Rupert doesn't know what he thinks. He hasn't seen his ankles since 1997. Fact number two, Laura is a shopaholic. Bit better, Rupert's an alcoholic, and that's pretty close. Fact number three, Laura loves biscuits and once dreamt of getting married in the biscuit aisle of a supermarket. Well, Laura, I'm sorry that you've had to endure such an amazing wedding in these beautiful surroundings, but you'll be relieved to know that Rupert's taking you to the ice cream aisle for your honeymoon, and he really wants to live in the pick and mix. It's clear you're a perfect match and a wonderful couple. They say the married life goes like this: the engagement ring, the wedding ring, the suffering. In this case, Rupert and Laura, that definitely will not be true. Laura, Rupert is one in a million. You've married an incredible guy, Someone who will keep you constantly entertained, make you laugh every day, and make sure you really do have the happiest of marriages. He always looks on the bright side. His glass is most definitely half full of Johnny Walker. The rest is Diet Coke. He has an insatiable appetite for fun and simply lights up the room. In fact, he used to light up about 20 times a day in most rooms. Rupert, I want to thank you for being an amazing lifelong friend, a best friend that anyone could wish for. Laura, you may now be Mrs. Silver, but you've most certainly struck gold in marrying Rupert. You make a wonderful couple. I wish you a massive mazel tov and a wonderful, happy married life together.